You just had a child or a grandchild, and of course you want to give them the best opportunities and advantages in life. Well, let me tell you about the $1 Million Baby Plan. So if you've been here before, you already know, and if you're here for the first time, welcome. My name is Laurent Meunier, and I'm the partner here at Safe Pacific Financial. We work with business owners and high-income professionals and their families to put together wealth plans that others can't. So what is the $1 Million Baby Plan? Well, it's a term that we coined that sets up a long-term savings and a wealth-building plan for your kids that lines up with their life financial milestones. So like going to school, buying a house, starting a business, starting a family, and eventually retiring. The reason we call it $1 Million Baby is because if you do this with the right numbers, it grows to give your kids or your grandkids about $1 million when they hit age 65, which is your traditional retirement age today. The $1 Million Baby Plan is a safe and secure savings plan for kids that grows with them and can be used for these major milestones. It's an old concept that we've innovated to work for young parents and grandparents in Canada. And today, I'm going to explain to you how it works. So, what is it? It's a plan that builds a special type of insurance policy as a forever asset for your child or your grandchild. It uses the same principles that we talk about in our other videos on the infinite banking concept or becoming your own bank and immediate financing arrangements, which is that you build up the asset inside an insurance policy and then you leverage against the policy cash values when you want to spend on the big life milestones that I just talked about. As a big bonus, setting this up when your kids or your grandkids are young also gives them a base of insurance that they will keep for their entire life. What can you use the $1 Million Baby Plan for? Well, whatever you want, that's entirely up to you. As you deposit premiums into the policy, it builds up cash values that line up nicely with life milestones like university tuition or down payment for a home, funds to start a business, money to pay for a big wedding, and a big chunk in retirement. Along the way, you can use this for whatever you want, but these are the general big things that our clients are doing for their kids and their grandkids. So people want to know about control. How does this work? There's three parties on an insurance contract. There's the owner, which is the person who pays the premiums. There's the life insured, which is the person that if they pass away, the insurance pays out. And then there's the beneficiary, and this is the one who receives the life insurance proceeds if something happens to the insured. So you are the parent or the grandparent, and you're putting in and you're paying these premiums. This means you are the owner of the policy and you have total and complete control over the policy. No one else can do anything or make any changes to the policy or access the funds in any way. You are the only one to have any say. So parents and grandparents really like this because they generally don't want to give a lot of money to young kids who haven't matured and are not in a position to manage that money properly. If the kids need the money, they can talk to you and you can get it for them. And then in the future, when you feel that they're financially mature and responsible enough, you can transfer the policy to them and then they will own it and they'll have control. This can happen whenever you want. They can be 25, 20, 30, 40, whatever. We can even set it up to transfer to them automatically when you pass away. All of this is done privately with no tax consequence. How does this $1 Million Baby Plan compare to other savings plans that we set up for kids? Well, the main comparison is usually against an RESP, which is a Registered Education Savings Plan. I know that this video is online and I'm supposed to say something like you should only do this and you should never do that because then it causes division and it gets lots of clicks, but that's not how we operate. There's pros and cons to each and there's good reasons to have each or both. The RESP is great because you get that 20% government matching, right? Like it's really hard to beat a guaranteed 20% government match. So generally we tell people to go and get that. The other thing that's good about RESPs is that most people have heard of them and they're easy to understand. So if your grandparents or your family is giving money for the kids, it's easy to tell them that the money's going to the RESP and you don't have to explain what's going on. They generally get it. You can also open an RESP at most major financial institutions like a bank or wherever you do your investments. So they're simple and they're easily accessible. Just make sure that whoever's setting it up for you knows what they're doing and submits the government grant forms for you. I've seen dummies set these things up and they don't set up the government grants. And I mean, like that's your job. Just do it properly. It's not hard. Some cons about the RESP. Well, the money can only be used for school. So if your kid doesn't go to school, well, you lose a lot of the benefit. Yes, you can cash it out or you can transfer it to the parent's RRSP without losing the principal, unless it's one of those private scholarship plans, which you really should stay away from. But you have to return the government grant money, and on some plans, you'll lose some or all of the growth, depending on the terms and conditions with whatever company you set it up. Another negative is that when your child goes to school and uses the money, well, the money's gone, and now you can't use it for anything else in the future. You've spent it, or they've spent it. So ideally, if you have the means, you should probably do both. Get the RESP free government money, also set up $1 million baby plan using the life insurance. And if you don't have the means and you need to pick one or the other to contribute, well, then I can't tell you what's best for you based off this video because I have no idea about your situation. But you can always message us via the link below, and we can meet and give you some advice about your options based on your life situation and whatever your goals are moving forward. For the $1 million baby plan, there's also a generational legacy play here as well. All right. If family legacy and taking care of future generations is important to you, think of this. You just put an insurance policy on your child or grandchild. And what does that mean? It means that eventually that death benefit is going to pay out to their beneficiary, which is probably their kids or your grandchildren or your great grandchildren, right? So you may not ever even meet these kids, but the steps that you take today will make sure that a legacy pays out to them in the future, right? This is the definition of planting a seed for a tree that you may never sit under, but that will be enjoyed by future generations. When can you set this up? Well, the earlier the better, so that you can take advantage of as much compounding as possible. The technical answer is that you can set up insurance for a child starting anytime after 2 weeks old. And then how much do you need to put into something like this to make it work? Well, you can set this up for any amount, but we really suggest a minimum of $100 a month. But to hit the $1 million baby plan numbers, it takes a monthly deposit of $250 starting right away when the child is born. But we can run numbers for you based on your child's age and budget and figure out kind of what's best for your situation. We have some grandparents putting away $1,000 a month into plans like this for their grandkids, right? So you can go as high as you want. People always ask, why haven't I ever heard of this? Well, really because $1 Million Baby is a name that we made up. We're not the first people to use a whole life insurance policy for kids. You know, people have been doing this for a long time. Just nobody's ever really called it $1 Million Baby Plan. We called it that, and I like the name, so we're keeping it. But why haven't you heard of doing a strategy like this for your kids or grandkids? Well, the majority of people that you know don't do this because they typically run their finances through a bank or an investment firm, and they don't offer insurance, so they're never going to tell you about this. To do this, you have to go through somebody who offers insurance, and most people don't. So all in all, the $1 Million Baby Plan is a no-brainer strategy to set up for your child or your grandkids, you know, for the rest of their life if you have the funds. If you're interested in seeing how this can work for you, contact us through the link below. And then as always, if you got value from this video today, please like it and comment on it, share it. And that tells the algorithm and the robots that you love us and that they should show the video to more people. That's it for me today, and I will see you next time.